Welcome, Capricorn, to the Temple of Tarot, Astrology and Yoga. My name is Ava, and I'm going to be your oracle and spiritual guide for the month, for a reading for the month of July 2025. This will be a reading, an Astro Tarot forecast that's relevant to you if your sun sign, your moon sign, or your rising sign is Capricorn. So what I've been doing is telling everyone the latest channel news before I begin the reading. And it's briefly, I've been adding a lot more yoga content. And I've changed the name of the channel from Ava's Temple of Consciousness to Ava's Temple of Tarot, Astrology, and Yoga. So I wanted yoga to be a more highlighted feature of the channel. You know that I've been through this crisis where where a hurricane, two of them actually in Florida, uprooted me and forced me, in a sense, to return to Hawaii, where I had been living before I moved to Florida. And I had been teaching yoga quite regularly to the public there in Florida, 4 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, for 15 years. And now that I'm living here on the Big Island, isolated and on an off-grid property in a cabin with a very beautiful lanai, surrounded by jungle, I've decided that I will teach to the public via video. And so I've created many yoga videos in the last 2 weeks, particularly, maybe 3 weeks. And I want everyone to try at least some of my yoga. Recently, and in the last 3 weeks, I've posted yin yoga, a sort of kundalini tantric meditation form of yoga that involves music, meditative music that I use not only as a background to the sessions, but as the lead motivator for the sessions. I use the music as my inspiration, and I hope that you enjoy them and can support them in whatever way you can. I'll be putting all or most of them up on Patreon pretty soon, and but those that I create daily or weekly will be up for a while, free. So please partake of them at the level of your own flexibility, strength, and endurance. I've been teaching yoga since I was 20. I'm 73. And so I've had a lot of experience. And consequently, I don't want you to be intimidated or held back because you may not be at the same level yet. If you participate 3 times a week, you'll be astounded at your progress. So, that said, let's begin your reading. This is an Astro Tarot forecast, Capricorn. And we begin with the astrology portion of it. I've told you many times that I love simplicity because it is the means by which I believe you get at the heart of the truth. Simplicity is beautiful. So we follow the transits of only 2 planets, Venus and Mars. The yin, the yang, the left, the right brain, the male, the female, this month, Venus transits into Gemini, which is your 6th house sector. Mars still remains in Virgo, transiting your 9th house. The 6th house, Venus in Gemini, is about the everyday goings-on of your life, your everyday routine, your lifestyle. It is also about your physical well-being, health. It can also be about debt, where you feel indebted. And so consequently, it could be about service, humanitarian service to your community. Now, Venus brings the energy of love and compassion and kindness into this sector. So, first of all, it's about self-love, taking care of yourself, your health, your well-being, paying more loving attention to your health. Your daily routine and work environment, because your daily routine involves work, or should involve work if you're not out of work. And this brings a very pleasant atmosphere into your work environment. Nice communications, loving communications, just a friendliness that you may be experiencing in your work environment, or even in your everyday routine, going to the market, the garage, to have your car fixed. You are encountering well-meaning people who are willing to help you, who are open-hearted to your needs and want to serve, help. Or you want to serve others in your community as well, bringing your love, your good intentions into these encounters, these everyday encounters that are a part of your lifestyle. So it's bringing your everyday routine into a level of higher love and compassion. Now Mars, a different energy, the energy of drive, ambition, action, is in your 9th house and has been for a little while. And the 9th house is the house of higher learning, spirituality, broadening your physical, emotional, spiritual horizons. The longing for travel, long-distance travel, to places you may never have visited before, or the longing for cultural expansion. A very different sector than the 6th house. The 6th house is about your immediate environment. And the 9th house is about broadening that immediate environment to include the exotic, the never before tried, the that which is different from what you're used to. So in your work, you might be experiencing a need to go out of your comfort zone. The same thing with your health. Maybe you're exploring alternative health methods ways of achieving health and well-being. As far as debt, this could be financial debt, or it could be a debt that you feel to someone on a more emotional level, and the fulfillment of that debt in ways that are, again, out of the box, out of the ordinary for you, going out of your way to repay your debt. Spiritually, this brings you into realms of deeper understanding, or at least a longing for a deeper understanding of yourself and of the world around you. So it might motivate you to do things, again, outside of what has been comfortable for you. Now, Capricorn is a very traditional, loving sign. One of the things I admire about Capricorn is they don't take shortcuts. They are willing and able to go the long haul because they want to achieve their goal, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get there. So they're uncompromising in that regard, and that's a beautiful trait. So in your work, in your health, you are willing to do what it takes. And if that involves going outside of what seems the normal routine that you've established, then you're going to do that. You're going to do whatever it takes to elevate your health to new levels of vitality, to make your daily life, your daily routine so much more emotionally fulfilling. So that is your forecast, your astro forecast for July. So now, let's move on to your tarot forecast. Welcome, Capricorn, to your tarot forecast for July 2025. Again, relevant to you if your sun sign, your moon sign, or your rising sign is Capricorn. So Capricorn, these are my cards, and I'm going to shuffle them right in front of you. And while I shuffle, what I do is I think about you, my dear Capricorn. You're an earth sign, and all earth signs are very level-headed, conservative, emotionally available, emotionally more mature than most, and then the other elements is what I meant. And Capricorn, though you are very similar to Taurus and Virgo, you have a very unique tenacity about you. You're tenacious in your relentless pursuit of perfection. You will go the mile, go the extra mile to achieve your goals, your dreams, your ambition. And you spare nothing to get there. Your relentlessness does not involve anger or irritability, or if you don't achieve something, if you fail at something in the process of perfection, then you absorb that. You don't lash out. You're calm and steady in pursuit of your goals. This is very admirable. I don't have any Capricorn, the sign I have Taurus, a moon in Taurus, but I don't have any Capricorn in my chart. I wish I did, because I admire the tenacity of Capricorn. You're loving, loyal, steadfast, level-headed, and again, extraordinarily tenacious. So, that said, let's begin your forecast for July. I always take a moment to ask you to learn how to read the tarot for yourself so that you can have a constant friend and ally by your side to guide you in times of need. You take the cards and you, with your left hand, you make another pile, and then you make a third pile. You take the first, put it over the second, and then that over the third. And let's begin your reading. This is a 4-card spread because, as I said before, I love simplicity, and I can glean, I can garner, I can extract the meanings of the symbols with more clarity, in my opinion, in a simple reading like this. In the position of the overall mood, energy, focus of the month, remember we have Venus in your 6th house of work and everyday routine. And now we have a Pentacles card in the position of your challenge. Right there. That is the 3 of Pentacles. It's about work. So the primary focus of the month is about work. Here we have an architect apprentice standing on a bench. He is showing his clients the work that he has done, the 3 Pentacles, on the church. He is obviously, from their dress, of a lower social class than his clients. But he's on a bench. He's been elevated to a higher level of authority, and he has earned the respect of his clients. They look upon him with admiration, and they are satisfied with his work. So, you may be elevated to a higher level of authority in your work, or you may be given the opportunity to show your skills, your talents, your knowledge, in ways that allow you to develop those skills, talents, and knowledge. The Mars in your 9th house, going beyond the borders of what you know, what you're comfortable with. And you are also, therefore, rewarded financially for this great effort, this material construct, structure, building something, making something. Capricorn, you are the Lord of the material world. You have been through many incarnations where your practical skills have been employed. And now you're being elevated. You're being lifted up into a new realm of material efficiency and manifestation. All right. The second position is the position of what is your specific challenge for the month. You see that? That's the star. I don't want that. I want you to see it. Look at it. She has 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on the land. She's pouring the water into the pool. The star represents hope. It represents the wedding of the spiritual and the material. Remember, pardon me, hold on. You have Mars in the 9th house of spirituality. So your challenge is to seek the guidance of the stars, to seek the guidance of the spiritual, to seek inner guidance, you see, the stars are angels. They're not what we've been told by mainstream science, in my opinion. Mainstream science wants material answers about the universe, but they neglect to understand that everything comes from spirit. Everything is spiritual. The stars are angelic. They're guides. They help us to understand ourselves and to literally guide us on the earth so that we aren't lost. So if you feel lost, your challenge is to go deep, to find your inner star, to find your inner angel, and to believe with your deepest heart in yourself as a spiritual being. This is about hope in every aspect. This is about inspiration, bringing beauty. You see, Venus is also about beauty, bringing beauty into your everyday life, in your everyday experiences, your everyday encounters, even into your work. Definitely into those things that are concerning your health and your well-being. Our health, and I'm a yoga teacher all my life. When we are ill or have diseases, they don't always have a purely physical cause. They can very well have emotional, psychological causes. In fact, mostly. I'd say the majority of the time they are brought about by emotional and psychological factors. Self-love. Venus in the 6th. Self-love. Love yourself. Love life. And your health and well-being will increase to levels that you never imagined. Love heals. That is your challenge. Wow. This is a very spiritual month indeed. Look what we have here. Temperance. Temperance. The angel of temperance. To temper something, to modify it, to live by the golden mean, to never do anything too excessive or beyond the margin of that which is excessive, overindulgence. So this, again, is about being on the straight and narrow. Finding a moderate path. So it's getting rid of the excesses, excess eating, excess drinking, excess partying, excess draining of your energy. You heal. You heal on levels that are very deep and emotional. So how does it end? We have a reversal. See that? The Two of Cups reversed. So, how interesting. The Two of Cups is about love. And when it's reversed, it's about not being able to come to an agreement with someone. Not being on the same page about something that is emotional. You see, Mars in the 9th house stirs up a lot of yearning for perfection in love, idealism in love. Something is not ideal with a partnership, a love relationship, or with a contract. So there's disruption in a relationship. And it's no wonder then you have the star as your challenge. The star represents hope. It represents deep guidance from your inner self. And so many of you may be faced with a relationship issue, or maybe a contract issue. Venus in the 6th. So you might be disappointed in a specific contract that doesn't meet your emotional needs. It could be the dissolution of a marriage. It could be that there's a postponement of a wedding ceremony, or a postponement of a, with Mars in the 9th, it could be a postponement of travel. something happens where you need to push that event forward a bit, or push the date of a marriage ceremony forward a bit. There's delays. There could be also delays in signing of a contract, because we've got Venus in your workspace, so that this is a beneficial placement. So all it could mean is that there are delays in agreements, or you could be on a different wavelength with a partner or a loved one. But on balance, with the star, the appearance of the star in Temperance in a reading, it's overwhelmingly beautiful. With something at the end of the month that can cause somewhat of an emotional disappointment in another or in a contract. That's how I see it, and I hope that it's certainly not a dissolution of a marriage, because that's never very pleasant. So thank you very much for coming to your forecast. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and for supporting. I appreciate it very much. I'll see you next month, Capricorn. All my love. Welcome, Capricorn, to your yoga pose of the month. What I've decided to do, instead of giving you a classic yoga pose, is to give you an exercise that is appropriate for the energy of your reading. We have Venus in the 6th house of health and well-being. So we want to excavate, pull out from us the illness, and to banish it from our body. So there is an exercise that you can do to accomplish this. Just separate the feet just slightly outside of hip width, bend the knees just a little, bring your hands towards your chest. Then inhale deeply through the nose, and then throw your arms back, spread the chest out, and what we do now is we turn our head and look over our right shoulder. We throw away our illness, our disease. We let it go. We bring it back, we bend the knees, we take a deep breath, we open up, we throw it away. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Throw it away. Exhale. Let it go. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. With the motion, we move. We move. Releasing, letting it go. Inhale, open up, release it from you. Turn your head, let it go. Exhale, bring your hands and arms forward. Place the hands in prayer. Bow gently as we say namaste. Thank you. Use that if there's an illness that's clinging to you. That way you can release it into the universe. Let the universe absorb the negativity. So now, please wait for your yoga mudra of the month. Welcome, Capricorn, to your mudra of the month. And I thought that what I'll do is I'll stay in the same healing realm that the yoga exercise demonstrated for you. So this mudra is called Linga Mudra, and it's to help increase your body temperature, your metabolism, so that you can banish your illness. You may practice it 15 minutes per session or less, 3 times a day or less. So let's begin. You take your hands and you put them together. You interlock the fingers. One thumb points up and the other thumb wraps around that thumb, and the index finger of the same hand touches the tip of the thumb. We close our eyes. We breathe slowly. And we imagine our illness, our dis-ease draining from our body. We hold. Letting go of all negative thoughts, all disease, illness, releasing it from us. We let go. We open up. We place the hands into prayer. And we bow and say namaste. Thank you for coming to your mudra of the month. Again, sit for at least 15 minutes per session, less if you find that uncomfortable. But try to repeat it 3 times a day. If you're suffering from any emotional or physical ailment. Thank you very much for coming to your forecast and for coming to your pose and your mudra. Namaste.